Good evening and welcome to the first of our Lenten Vespers. Tonight we'll be singing and contemplating the song, All Who Are Thirsty. I hope that you had an opportunity to pick up a copy of our Lenten guide or save the PDF that came last Tuesday in your email. But you'll also be receiving every weekday morning a Lenten devotional written by one member of our 5-member writing team. And at the bottom of each of those devotionals, there will also be the link to the PDF for the Lenten devotional guide. The guide lays out a different focus or theme for each week of Lent, with an overall theme of fasting. And our purpose is to explore the spiritual discipline of fasting as a way of creating space for God. So tonight, I hope that you'll settle in with us and open up your heart as well as some space in your life for us to spend some time together with the Lord.
Come, Lord Jesus, come. Come, Lord Jesus, come.
We come thirsty and weak into the presence of God. I think one of the challenges of fasting is that we want to come with our best foot forward. We want to enter into Lent penitent and good at this. Or maybe you're like me and just find ways of justifying not engaging some of these spiritual disciplines. And I think that part of the problem is that we believe the lie that says that we can do this. We can do it all by ourselves without any need of support or help. And it's such an interesting perspective when you consider that we really don't have the capacity to come quenched and strong before the Lord, but instead He invites us to come to Him in our weakness. And He invites us to come into His presence.
All thirsty, all are we. Come to the fountain, dip your heart in the streams of life. Let the pain and the sorrow be washed away in the waves of His mercy. As deep cries out to deep, we sing, come, Lord Jesus, come, Lord Jesus, come.
Come, Lord Jesus. Is it we who come into the presence of God, or is it God who makes Himself known to us in our midst? Well, I think the truth is that it's a little bit of both. And fasting, along with other spiritual disciplines, is an opportunity for us to create space, to create thoughtfulness, to create intention that makes us aware of the presence of God. And when we sing, Come, Lord Jesus, we are asking, okay, Lord, I've made myself available now and in this space. Will you go ahead now and show yourself to me? Will you go ahead now and draw me more deeply into your presence? Not will you reward my efforts, but will you come on this journey with me? one of the opportunities that fasting has is an opportunity for us to consider the day-to-day routines of our lives. Whether we're fasting from a favorite snack or chocolate or some other food, in fasting from that, every time we walk into the kitchen, we have this opportunity to invite God to accompany us there, to accompany us when we're standing in front of the pantry wondering what we might have next, to prompt our memory that we made a commitment to try and withhold that indulgence for a period of time. But it is not for the purpose of asceticism, for the purpose of making pain or misery in our lives, but instead for us to realize that as readily available as that thing is that we're fasting from, as dependent as we have become on that thing that we are fasting from, we invite God to help us at that point of intersection with our desire and that which we said we won't engage with. And to hear God say, I'm here. Come into my presence. Let me come into your heart. Let me come into your life. Let me come into this moment and be present with you here. Not so that you can experience depravity, not so that you can experience loss, but actually so that you can experience gain. That ultimately is the focus of fasting.
As deep cries out to deep, as deep cries out to deep, as deep cries out to deep, we sing, come, come, come.
So this week, the invitation in our guide is to fast from added sugar or corn syrup. And the question that we ask on a deeper level is, what is the corn syrup of our spiritual lives? What is the easy access time with God where we eat mindlessly, where we don't really think about where we are present and what we are putting into our bodies or into our souls, our minds? Is it a routine of spending time with God that really needs to be disrupted so that we're paying attention? Have we gotten to a place where we engage a daily devotional that we've read so many times that we really aren't hearing the words anymore? Is it a prayer practice where we say the same thing every night and we're not paying attention to what God might be wanting to say to us? This week, we have an opportunity to pay attention to the things that we consume, both physically in our bodies. We really are inviting all of us to give up sugar for just 1 week. But in that process, in that engagement of choosing to say no to the things that tempt us, we're also invited to pay attention to what the easy reach has become for us in our walk with God. That's a little harder to access. I can choose not to eat M&Ms this week. I can choose not to have a bowl of ice cream this week. I can choose not to satisfy that desire that comes after eating a meal to have something sweet. It's harder to find and to access the same easy, routinized way that we've come to spend time with God, not because it's fulfilling and refreshing for us, but because it's easy and doesn't require a lot of effort for us. So I invite you to engage each day of this week, this practice of fasting, as a way of trying to access what is the spiritual corn syrup in our lives. And you can do that by reading each morning the meditation on 1 Corinthians 10 that you find from our 5 writers. And then on Saturday, you'll have an opportunity to engage the practice of examine, where you can look back on this week and have a conversation with God about how it went. May the Lord bless you in your endeavor, in your discipline, and may God meet you at that point of difficulty, temptation, and need.
All who are thirsty, all who are weak, come to the fountain. Dip your heart in the streams of life. Let the pain and the sorrow be washed away in the waves of His mercy. As deep cries out to deep, we sing, come Lord Jesus, come Lord Jesus, come. As deep cries out to deep, as deep cries out to deep, as deep cries out to